In this video, we're going to find out why high-end scan tool manufacturers do not want you to know about this Otofix D1 Pro S and some things that you should consider. Hey everybody, this is RandomFix and I review a lot of scan tools, and this Pro S from Otofix is something special. However, it's got its limitations. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what this scan tool can and cannot do, as you really do need to know if this is the right scan tool for you. So I'm going to help you guys best I can by giving you guys my honest feedback. And towards the end of the video, I will go ahead and give this a RandomFix tool grade so you guys can go ahead and decide for yourself. I will be trying this on a few different vehicles, including a newer Chrysler vehicle, and I'll let you guys know if it works with the $20 bypass cables, as that can save you a lot of money. And this video is all about getting you more scan tool for your money. And before we jump into a vehicle, let's see what's included in the box with the D1 Pro S. Let's cover what's included inside the box besides the tablet. So we get this nice Bluetooth VCI, and this VCI is a little unique as it's got a nice USB-C right up top that allows me to plug in a USB-C cable. And then if I need to do any updates, I can go ahead and do them inside the garage instead of being connected to a vehicle. And when it's transmitting, it will go ahead and turn blue. And since this is Bluetooth, this can work up to 10 meters away, which is roughly about 33 feet. So I can work from the comfort of the garage instead of sitting in a hot vehicle. Or if I'm doing some sort of troubleshooting, I can walk around the vehicle, activate a device, and listen to see if the device is turning on and not need an additional helper. Hard shell case, a paper owner's manual, a USB-C to USB-C cable, and a USB-C to USB hub that has an Ethernet connection up top. And the case is really nice as I'm able to go ahead and store additional accessories. And you also get the charging brick here, and there's only one way of charging this unit, which is to use this brick. You cannot charge it via USB-C, which is a real bummer. Now let's talk about the tablet itself, as the tablet has a lot to offer. We have a 10.4-inch display, 7,250 milliamp battery. And the nice thing is I can actually charge my phone off this in case I'm hotspotting, and it makes it really easy as it's USB-C. Up top, we have a few different connections. The very first is where the power brick plugs into, two USB-C connections. So I can plug this in here if needed and get access to the Ethernet in case I don't have Wi-Fi, or I just need a high-speed USB-A connection. There's a headphone jack. There's also a micro USB connection and a SD card slot. We have 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of memory, and after installing all the updates, I still have 77 gigs available, and the SD card will allow for future expansion as these updates are only going to get bigger. There's a forward-facing 5 megapixel camera, a rear 8 megapixel camera that has a flash built in, and I can access the camera right here. I can use it to take a picture or a video, and if I want to activate the front camera, it's right here. And it's Android, so it's very easy to use. At the very bottom we have a back button, a home button, which will bring you to this menu. I could scroll to the left, do a search. The Android screen is right here. A multi-function icon right here, browser, and I can use this to search Google, the vehicle makes screen, and the hot functions. So these are all the hot functions that are available, and these are not available on every vehicle. So once you scan the vehicle, it will show you the ones that apply. So these are pretty common. We have oil resets, parking brake service, TPMS reset and relearn, battery registration for BMW, injector coating. It can go ahead and make keys, throttle relearn, tire change. So we have 20 here, an additional 20, and another 7. So we have a total of 47 hot functions that are available. And overall, this feels really nice. The one thing I do have to say is that this does not include a kickstand. During this video, if you guys see me fumbling around with this, it's because it's really hard to hold on to as I'm recording. So I apologize in advance, but I do wish this had some sort of kickstand or something that it could slide into and give me a kickstand, as I'm always having to rest it against something so I can go ahead and view what's going on. So kickstands are definitely appreciated. Now let's talk about the interface. This is a very familiar interface, as is the Autel interface. Otofix is a sub-brand of Autel. So basically they're giving you a lot of value, and one of the selling perks of this is really the 2 years of updates. So we'll do some math at the end and see how this really does compare to some of the Autel units. Diagnostics is where I'm going to go most of the time. The service function here is going to show me all of the service functions that are available to the scan tool. Settings, Data Manager, VCI Manager is where I can go ahead and pair new devices such as a battery tester, which is pretty cool. And I'll leave a link to it down below, and it's $99. And it will test your battery, your charging system, and even does a cranking test. We have the battery test right here. Maxi Tools, updates. Updates are very easy, and the 2 years are included. And on the next screen, we have the remote desktop, which is really a nice function, as I could work from the comfort of my home PC in case the Bluetooth range wasn't enough. A support function right here, and the support is 24/7. OEM authorization. So this does have FCA AutoAuth, and I'll show you guys a little trick in case you guys don't want to pay $50 a year to AutoAuth. We got the Maxi Viewer and the Maxi Video. And the Maxi Video is where I can connect an inspection camera. And lastly, we have the Autel User Center. I'm going to click Diagnostics. I will hear a beep noise. The unit's light will turn blue. Right here, I have to either enter in a work order number or do a standalone diagnostics. I'm going to choose this option for the purposes of this video, but for shops, this is amazing, and branding and compliance is going to be a breeze with SmartKey. And look at this simple menu. I only have a total of 5 items I can choose. Auto scan. This will allow me to go ahead and scan all the different modules using Scan 2.0. So it's a lot faster. And I'm not fast forwarding this. This is in real time. And we are currently almost done. There we go, 100%. Now I can get a report, view any faults if it had any by clicking underneath it. This one doesn't have it, but we'll look at another vehicle. I could also do a quick erase if it had faults. From this menu, I could enter systems, or I can go to control unit and choose my system. For example, I'm going to choose engine. And here I only have 4 options. So simplicity is key. Trouble codes, live data, active test, and special functions. Active tests are the ones where I can actually send a command to the vehicle to engage a motor, to go and activate a switch without having to rip the whole car apart. And we have special functions. These are special functions connected to the engine control module, air fuel sensor operation, throttle matching, manual oil resets, evap system tests, learning values. You can do a VIN check. Let's go to active tests. I've chosen the water pump. Now I'm going to activate the water pump. And as I'm using the scan tool, the battery voltage is displayed right here in the top right hand corner, and I can turn it off. And since this is wireless and portable, I can actually move around the vehicle instead of being limited by a cord. This makes it ultra easy for one-person diagnostics. And with these bidirectional scan tools, it makes troubleshooting very easy, as I can go ahead and shut off the fuel here to the vehicle. So if I think I have a fuel related issue and I shut the fuel off and nothing changes, that will basically make it much easier for me to go ahead and figure out whether I have a compression issue, a fuel related issue, or if there's something else that I need to go ahead and investigate. Again, these are all the different control units for this particular Toyota. So when I try to go to the hybrid controls, This is what I'm able to see. Get into a sub menu, and I can activate the fan here. And this is the fan inside the vehicle, and it's definitely on. You can easily turn it off. Back to the main menu here. We also have live data fusion. And this is what I really like about the Autel menu here, as it allows me to go ahead and group items together. Instead of having to go through every single time and choose the fields, I can save the group. So here's a couple of groups I saved. I could also create a group by choosing any of these live data feeds right here. Selecting these, and once I select them, I can hit save, give it a name. And once the group has been established, I can choose the items that I want to graph. Select graph merge, and it's instantaneous. And the nice thing is, in case I'm trying to troubleshoot something on a road test, I don't have to watch the screen constantly. What I can do instead is I can hit record and then focus on the drive and then go replay this data when I get back to the shop or back to my house. So it's really easy. That is done right here. Check that out. That's pretty cool. I'm actually doing a screen record and I'm recording this particular data. While I'm recording this video, I wanted to point on a comment that one of my subscribers actually made. So props to him for commenting, and you can do the same. He stated something that was so obvious to me, but I never really thought about it. He actually has 3 or 4 different scan tools, as no scan tool can give you 100% coverage. So it's really important to go ahead and reach out to the scan tool manufacturers and ask them for a list of supported functions before you hit that buy button, as a lot of these scan tools are great at doing certain things, but they cannot go and do everything. So for example, on this Autel Otofix sub-brand device, it is very good. It's professional grade, no doubt. However, something as simple as a slight mileage adjustment is not allowed. For some mobile mechanics, this might be a deal breaker, because if you go replace an instrument cluster and you want to reprogram the miles to match the old cluster, you're not going to be able to do with this. However, I have tried out other scan tools that are under $500 that can do this. And on the flip side, this device is really great at detecting if the odometer has been tampered with. It will actually give you a message on the bottom letting you know that there's a significant difference between the odometer, the radio control unit, some transmission control unit, as it scans all the different modules, checks for their VINs, and also the mileage recorded on that module. And if you're wondering why I'm so red, it's because it's super hot and I'm trying not to turn on the AC as I'm recording the video, so you guys will have a better experience. So don't forget to go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. And this is what's really nice about that 10.4-inch screen. It is definitely viewable and ultra clear. Now let's go to hot functions. Instead of having 3 pages of hot functions, I only have 2 pages. And instead of having 47, I have a total of 26. And just because you see an item listed does not mean it's supported. For example, this has a DPF after treatment. Well, this car is not diesel. This is a hybrid vehicle. And this is not supported. However, with this particular scan tool, I have made keys before. So for some of the basic vehicles, this could definitely take care of those basic key needs, and you could make yourself a key for under $50. So the tool is great, but it's not perfect. And with that being said, Autel is really great at providing coverage, but just know it cannot do everything. I might get a lot of questions where people are asking me if this does ECU programming. No, this does not do ECU programming. This does ECU coding on select vehicles. So coding is different from programming, as you're just making slight changes to some of the features of the vehicle, such as how long the light stays on for, whether the car will make a noise when you hit lock or unlock. So ECU coding is basically going to be much simpler ECU programming is a lot more complex, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually break your car. And here's the next set of hot functions. I really like this VIN auto check. As you guys know, there's going to be a lot of mileage tampering out there with used cars. A lot of people buy hybrid vehicles and the mileage on them is not really true. So look at this. We have the vehicle VIN listed here and the kilometers and the mileage listed here from the engine control and also the hybrid system. Natively, the mileage is stored in kilometers and the odometer shows it to you in miles. So as far as miles, it's 125, 235. This tool can pay for itself the very first time, as it's really great for these mileage checks, as well as inspection monitors for drive cycles. As you guys may know, if your car can't pass smog, you cannot drive it, and if you can't drive it, it's almost worthless. So be very careful when you are buying a new car. And this is the noise it makes when you first exit the menu, letting you know that you need to grab the VCI. To check the drive inspection monitors, click on Basic OBD2. I'm going to skip this. And I can click IM readiness since last cleared. And this will let me know if there's anything that's incomplete. And as you guys may notice, the evap system on this is incomplete. And the Otofix does have CAN FD and DOIP support, which is used on a lot of the newer BMWs, Jaguars that are going to be 2019 and newer. However, if you want to access the diagnostic information here on a newer Chrysler product, so this could be Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, and such, you're going to need to pay $50 a year to get access to AutoAuth. This does support it, and it works amazingly well. Connected to a newer Chrysler vehicle here. This is going to be the Jeep Gladiator, and this is pretty amazing. I'm pretty far from the house, quite far actually, and this still has a little bit of Wi-Fi reception. So let's see if this actually works. Okay, so this is the screen I need to see. This is going to be the AutoAuth authorization screen, and you can tell if you hit new registration, it'll take you to AutoAuth. It's right here in the corner. And I've already signed up for this, and this costs $50 a year, and you do not need a shop to go ahead and access this. So I have my username and password. So just like a regular car with AutoAuth, I can go ahead and access everything on this vehicle. However, if you're a home mechanic, maybe you don't want to pay the yearly $50 fee as you only use it once in a while. This does work with bypass cables. So let me show you guys what I mean. This is a bypass cable. They cost under $20. And if you disconnect the security gateway, and I'll leave you guys a video on how you can find your security gateway and get these plugged in, this can access the information. And there is going to be a little bit of a workaround, but it only takes 1 second and does not require any special tools. And let me show you guys this, sending a command to the vehicle to turn on the radiator fan. Make sure your internet is on when you're doing this. I'm going to choose control unit, powertrain, and I'm going to choose the ECM test, which is the same thing as actuation tests. Basically going to allow me to send a command to this instead of just reading information. Radiator fan. So I've turned on the fan to 80%, and let's see if it's working. The fan is definitely working. Now you know it works. Save yourself from those annual fees. With the Jeep out of the way, we are now connected to a 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan. And here's the main menu, auto scan, fault code scan. And again, this is going to be in real time. And this does not have a topology scan. So for DIY home mechanics, it's not as visually pleasing, but it works just as well. Let's go to hot functions. These are all the hot functions that are available for this particular vehicle. And again, when you see auto, this is just going to do an odometer reading. It is not going to allow me to adjust the miles on this vehicle. Just because it's listed doesn't mean it pertains to this vehicle. This is not a diesel. Using this scan tool, I am not able to program a key for this Dodge. It does not allow me to read the PIN number. It is definitely possible, and I've done it with other scan tools. I also have a transmission adaptation, and my transmission previously had an issue. Whenever I would come to a complete stop, I would have to wait about 2 to 3 seconds so the transmission completely downshift. If I didn't, I would hear this clunk. So I'm super stoked that my transmission is no longer clunking. I just dropped it in a very, very bad spot. This kickstand thing has got to stop. So back to what I was saying. So I'm really stoked that the transmission clunking has gone away. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this on screen. And I normally don't trust a lot of scan tools that are not OEM to go and perform a transmission related relearn, as it could potentially go and damage my transmission and get me into a lot of trouble. So I'm going to show you guys this process. I tapped on quick learn and it lets me know that the procedure will start. The engine must be on. I must keep my foot on the brake and set the parking brake. I have set the parking brake as well. I'm going to hit OK. OK. Shift to overdrive. Put the vehicle in drive. Neutral. The quick learn is in process. Shift to overdrive again. Yeah, the car is definitely shaking as this is relearning everything. It says move the shifter to park. And now the procedure is complete. Let me go road test it again. I'm going to slow down from 70 miles an hour. To a complete stop and accelerate again. No clunk. Perfect. This is something I am going to go and redo every 30,000 miles. Now is my favorite part of the video. This is where I'm going to give this a RANDOMFIX tool grade. But before we jump into the score, I wanted to just share with you guys what I had to actually do to test components before some of these bi-directional scan tools had all these nice features. And really, these bi-directional scan tools have made it easier for dealers to go and service the vehicles, as they no longer have to rip apart the car. For example, this is a power probe. And as you can see, I haven't had to use it very much because of bi-directional scan tools like this D1 Pro S. In the past, I had to connect this to the battery and this to the ground. And if I wanted to test a fan or a motor, I had to go remove the door panel and then find the connector, make sure I found the positive wire, and then inject power into there. And I had to do this for every component. So for example, earlier I turned on the fan underneath the seat on the Prius. With the scan tool, I could do it in under 5 minutes. If I had to remove the seats, remove all the trim pieces along the way, and get to the connector, it would take me a lot longer, and I could potentially damage some wires along the way because these probes are a little invasive. And know that you as a consumer can get the job done ultra fast, not have to spend thousands of dollars at a dealership if you just take a few minutes and use all the data the scan tool is providing you, including the built-in support. This is free and included for the very first 2 years. And since we're talking about value, let's address costs really quick and comparables. So the closest Autel unit that I can find to this is $1,699. The Autel unit comes with 1 year of updates. This comes with 2 years of updates. So if we take that $300 and we add it to the $1,699, we're going to get a grand total of $2,000. This unit right here is under $1,000. I'll leave you guys the best coupons I can find in the video link down below. And if you're really concerned about user experience, this is really the best route to go. And I did reach out to them and ask them what happens when the updates expire. The unit is not going to turn into a brick. However, some vehicle manufacturers want an internet connection and they want to make sure you have an active subscription. So on some of the newer 2022 Kias, this is required. And depending on the year of your vehicle, this might not be an issue. From my own experience of owning Autel tools, I went ahead and renewed the service every 3 years and got the latest updates, and then I would continue to use it. And after about 9 years, I didn't go and renew it anymore just because there were newer scan tools that were faster. And before we jump off of value, let's not forget that this particular scan tool does work with the FCA bypass cables. And additionally, when it comes to value and you're looking for a nice endoscope, borescope, and these are for under $20 on Amazon, just know that this is going to end up happening. It will not work. So don't try it, as I already wasted $20. But Otofix is actually selling the original borescope, endoscope for under $50. And in return, they're giving you a great scan tool with some of the best software on the market. And I do want to thank the vendor for sending me this. And as always, guys, I keep my reviews honest so you guys can know what to expect and they don't get a whole bunch of returns, as I'm not going to hype it up for you and tell you guys that this has wings and it's going to make you fly. That's not the case here. It's a scan tool and it's a good scan tool. However, it's not perfect. For example, it lacks the kickstand, and I actually found the solution to the kickstand. It's a $6 part on Amazon. It's not made for this specific scan tool, but it works. So it's not constantly falling over, because I've dropped this quite a few times, and after all the drops, it doesn't have any visible damage. Additionally, not everything on the scan tool works. For example, the odometer adjustment on the Dodge does not work. Autel does not allow you to make adjustments on their lower end tools on odometer clusters. And as far as the pros, it's got Autel Simplicity. It's great for odometer rollback detection. And it's got 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage that is expandable. And overall, I'm going to give this an 88 out of 100, which is a really high score. And a lot of people ask me how I actually rate this. I rate it relative to price. So I'm not going to say a Toyota Camry is a better and faster car than a Ferrari. However, for the price, I think the Toyota Camry is better than a Ferrari. And if Otofix addresses the lack of the kickstand, I think this would be the very first scan tool that might have gotten a 90. And overall, I'm really happy with this device. And I'm going to leave you guys a link to it in the video description box down below, as well as a clickable link at the end. And I'll mention any coupon codes on the link and down below. If there's anything that I didn't mention in this video that you think that's important, please comment down below, as I would love to get into another video. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.